And we are live. Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and you are watching / listening to another episode of iCritic Live, where we talk about movies, pop culture, and life in between. And I am your host, and I am so happy that you have taken time out of your day to join us. As today we are talking about MoviePass and their relaunch. Now, MoviePass has been a big topic on this channel at the height of their career, existence, if you will. I was kind of known as the MoviePass YouTuber. I love the company, probably a little too much. I was blind to some of the pitfalls, but I did love the service, and I was very, very happy that it would be coming back. And it is back. Unlike last time, we are going to be taking more critical, more logical looks at this service and how it is doing. But one of the questions, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but MoviePass officially relaunched as a beta. You may remember we did a video where I was up late and people signed up for a wait list so that when MoviePass officially launched in beta, you could be signing up if you were on the wait list. Well, I got on the wait list. Ironically, my wife did not. I think we overlooked that, so she does not have it. But I now have a MoviePass card. Let's see if we can't move it so you can see it. There it is. I know it's kind of in low res quality, but there it is. And I can tell you right now, and congratulations on getting your MoviePass card, RLI. We will be doing a video tomorrow comparing the new MoviePass card to the old MoviePass card, how it looks and stuff like that. It's going to be just one of those generic things. And then we're going to be uploading videos about how to activate that card. And it will follow up probably next week with a full-blown MoviePass 2.0 review. So there's a lot of MoviePass content coming out this week. I am also listening to Mitch Lowe's book about his career. It's a very fascinating book. We're in the MoviePass chapter now. I don't know if he's completely owning up to some of the mistakes he made, but we will eventually do a live stream where we talk about that. And also on the list, well, not on the list, on the schedule this year, it's not going to be a tier ranking, but maybe it will be. My good friend Rachel and I will be doing the top 10 best films of the year, most likely on Tuesday at around 2 p.m. So feel free to tune in and check that out. But one of the biggest questions about MoviePass is, will people trust the service again? Because MoviePass at its height had a little over 3 million subscribers. It took about 2 years to get those 3 million subscribers. And there's been, with how many people got burned on MoviePass, would they actually come back? Could a new MoviePass service actually compete and be something that people would want to sign up for, especially when we have AMC Stubs A-List, Regal Unlimited, and Cinemark Movie Club, even though that's kind of a different thing altogether. I don't think that's a legitimate movie subscription service. It's practical for Fathom events, but not much else. Well, the answer is that MoviePass does appear to be back in a big way. In fact, the numbers are shockingly high. About 800,000 people on the wait list have signed up for the service. Now, those on the wait list, that time to sign up has closed again. We'll talk about, your second opportunity in a few minutes. But here's the thing. This number is extremely, extremely impressive, especially for a service whose name has been considered mud by so many people. MoviePass 1.01 burned their bridges with the public. And the fact that almost 1 million people signed up for the relaunch pretty much right away shows that MoviePass still has a lot of love. And honestly, if Stacy Spikes, the current CEO and the founder of MoviePass, really plays his cards right, MoviePass might actually become a bigger product than even I had anticipated. I thought it would be this niche thing, but it might be mainstream again. You never know. And maybe they can actually monetize on it the way they wanted to originally. But here's this very brief article from Market Watch. Financial technology company Usio Inc., who you may have heard from previous videos, is the credit card processor for MoviePass, announced Tuesday that it was working with MoviePass on the relaunch that the companies have seen so much interest from customers. Quote, we had no idea of the power that MoviePass's brand held until we witnessed MoviePass signing up almost 800,000 beta clients in 5 years and believe that demand will not stop there, Usio Chief Executive Louis Hawk said in a release. MoviePass, quote, had to increase the number of cities in which MoviePass will initially launch from 3 to 9, Hawk said. MoviePass attracted buzz in 2018 after allowing people to pay a low subscription fee for the ability to see unlimited movies. But that business model didn't provide sustainable. MoviePass is relaunching with a credit system through which people can choose from subscription options and redeem credits of varying amounts depending on whether the movie is during the day, in the evening, or on a weekend. By the way, also depending on the age of the movie, probably, according to the MoviePass website. Usio makes prepaid cards that are used in these efforts. So there you go. It's a short article, not a huge thing. But again, this is a huge number. Even when MoviePass was $9.99, they didn't reach this number for several months. So that actually shows that even though the service crashed and burned a little bit, well, it created the brand awareness. And when it worked, people really liked it. And so some people decided to give it a second chance right up front. Now, I agree with you, RLA. I think a lot of people are going to take a wait and see approach this time. But it is also clear that, people are giving it a chance. In fact, I also like this concept. See, the advantage of MoviePass is that you're not locked into a theater chain like other movie plans. That's what I liked. Yeah, in fact, I was talking to my dad, who he definitely got burned by MoviePass. So he's like watching my videos and asking me, do I think it's worth it for him to sign up for it? He has Regal Unlimited right now. He doesn't have AMC in his area, so he had to get Regal Unlimited. But one of the things that he misses is the Studio Movie Grill. It's still there, but you can't use Regal Unlimited to go to the Studio Movie Grill. Ironically, my mom would see more movies if they could go to the Studio Movie Grill or the Studio Movie Grill because, she likes eating dinner while watching the movie. She likes their comfortable chairs. And I told him, with MoviePass, you could go back to the Studio Movie Grill and you can see movies. So assuming the thing doesn't implode by the time it launches in the summer, my dad might actually become a consumer. And of course, one of the reasons that MoviePass is probably doing this beta test is because they want to make sure that they get it right. They want to make sure that they can, if any problems come up, they can fix it with the limited number of people that they have, which apparently isn't so limited. It's 800,000. And then they could launch it nationwide. Now, when is that actually going to be? Well, they have updated the website yet again, and it's much more. The website keeps changing a lot, and it keeps getting better, in my opinion. Obviously, they're advertising a lot of the upcoming movies. And I love this. No contracts, cancel anytime. So that's... Now, I have to say, they probably will put a stipulation in the contract that if you do cancel anytime, you can do that, but you might have to wait a few months before you actually can sign up again. I think this is just something that they're all going to do because they don't want a bunch of churn from people. It's like, oh, well, in August and September, I don't really go to the movie, so cancel for those 2 months. And I'll come back in October for whatever Marvel movie is coming out. It's like, no, they're like, if you want to see that Marvel movie in October, you're going to keep this subscription. So I think that would, stick around, but basically they're not going to say you have to sign up for a few months to start with before you can cancel. They're just not going to do that. They do not have the goodwill to do something like that anymore. And of course, they're advertising that you can pretty much go to any theaters. You can see more movies. They have the frequently asked questions. When you go to the plans, they keep tweaking everything. Like, here's the prices, excluding Southern California and New York, which, as you saw when I signed up, I definitely were not paying these prices. I think they still have some pros limited stock, but again, the beta has closed. So that's interesting that for the people that they did open this up with, apparently they did not sell out of their one movie a day plan. So that's interesting. They're also kind of being a little bit more upfront about exactly what it's going to cost. Now, again, this is probably going to change depending on the movie and stuff like that. But matinee, which is open to 3:59 p.m., for most places, it'll cost you 10 credits to see a movie. And if the evening, it's going to be 15 credits after 4, except on weekends where it's going to be 20. Now, this is fluid. For example, some of the movie shows on my MoviePass app shows that 80 for Brady is going to be charging for 40 credits, and some of the evening show times on Saturday. We were looking it up, and at that point that was like not worth it, because 80 for Brady is doing this very unique pricing thing where it's matinee price the whole time. But because the MoviePass algorithm determined this is a new movie and there was a lot of demand for this movie at these times, at these theaters, that would be 40 credits. So, and that's probably where MoviePass could have made some money if someone redeemed some credits there, because they paid for a heavily discounted ticket and used a lot of credits. So this is not fluid. This is not hard across the board. It's going to depend on the movie and the time and the day and probably how long it's been out. So, by the way, this is the thing for the Southern California metro area. And as you can see, the 18 credits is a lot more standard for the matinees. And see, 4 p.m. to close on weekends, 40 credits, even though, again, 80 for Brady had a discounted ticket price. So if you use MoviePass for that, then you would, in a sense, be getting ripped off. Now then, that said, I have not officially used my MoviePass card. I will probably use it for the first time on Wednesday if things work out. I have not seen Triangle of Sadness, which is the one Best Picture nominee that I have not seen. And there is a local family-owned theater that is showing it at 3:30. Or I could elect to see it at Cinemark at 7:15. But I kind of want to use that MoviePass to kind of test it out. And I'm sure I'll use it again for the documentary shorts, because the live action, the animated shorts show up in how should I put this? They show up in AMC and Regal, so I can use those. So I will definitely be using MoviePass a little bit more sparingly and in a calculated way. I'm going to primarily use it at mom and pop theaters. But again, it seems to be doing very well with people. And I think the fact that the credits will at least be rolling over for at least a couple months, that provides some relief. Like, again, my dad, who is probably the typical person that you would be trying to attract, he's also thinking about re-signing up for MoviePass, because if the credits roll over, then it's like, okay, so if I don't use it 1 month, but I pay for it, I feel good because the credits are rolling over. And I'm going to have to see what the limit is, because I don't think that they're just going to have unlimited credits rollover. That could definitely get abused. And yeah, I have not forgotten that MoviePass admits that we're in beta testing now. So if there are kinks, they are promising to fix them. And yeah, matinee show times will be less credits generally. Also, the movie tickets in the afternoon are also, cheaper in general. So it works out all around. Now, here's something that I probably should touch on, because we have a friend who, when she saw that I had a MoviePass card, she definitely had the misconception about this service. So, RLI says, I wonder how many people realize that the current CEO was not in charge of the previous iteration of MoviePass, and will it matter to some? And that could matter, or it could not. Now, my friend, when she saw it, she's like, they owe me 3 months of of the service. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, because they charged me for 3 months and I never use it, and I tried to cancel, so they owe me 3 months. And I tried to tell her, well, that's not how this is going to work. The MoviePass is under new ownership. They bought them out of bankruptcy. So the people in charge there are not the ones who ran the previous version of MoviePass. So they really don't owe you anything, but she's kind of taken that stance because it's the same name. Like, you charged me for 3 months that I never used. Therefore, they need to give me that 3 months back before I'll sign up. And that's not going to happen. But yeah, so anyway, that might be a problem for some people. Hey, Uberman Tampa, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. So that's so yeah, MoviePass is back. People seem to be really forgiving of it this time. And if they mess up, people are going to know. And I think that's one of the reasons MoviePass is actually tempering. It's a good thing that they made this wait list and everything, because if they made almost 1 million subscribers on the wait list alone, I can only imagine if it was open to everyone, they would have had millions of people probably sign up for it. And then if some kinks showed up, then they would have been in real trouble. So yeah, I think that is definitely a good thing. We're going to see what happens when MoviePass launches in the summer. Like I said, I'm going to use it for the first time on Wednesday. I will be making a video review. It'll probably come out next week. In the meantime, there's other MoviePass related content that's going to be premiering this week. So I'd like to know what you guys all think. Do you plan to re-sign up for MoviePass? I know RLI got his MoviePass card today, but I'd like to know if you're taking a wait and see approach or not. So you can comment below and like, favorite, share, subscribe. And now we're going to answer some questions that have been in the live stream. We always like to do this. MoviePass knows they're under the microscope right now, so they can't mess this up. Yeah, they are definitely under the microscope. So Uberman Tampa says, how's life? Well, life is pretty good at the moment. I can't complain too much. I hope things are good with you. Joshua says, and actually, Joshua, you posted like a lot, so I'm going to have to address a lot of that in one answer, but we'll first do this one. I do not have MoviePass. Would you say it is worth it? Because nowadays I don't really go to the movies often. Obviously, you have to figure out whether or not that's for you or not. But here's the thing. I would say that if you go once or twice a month, then a movie subscription service of any kind is typically worth it. Because with movie ticket prices, you just have to see 2 movies a month, and that's it. You have broken even. Now, let's say you go between 1 or 2 movies a month. Well, then MoviePass might actually be worth something, because again, credits roll over. So if you don't go for 1 month, but you might go to a couple movies the next month, then you have extra credits to use. So it's something that you have to personally choose to do. But that being said, you can do it. Now then, let's go. Oh, yeah. And honestly, there's pretty much no movie theaters in Washington, Georgia, where I live. I kind of find that hard to believe. I'm sure you would get the Disney movies. I'm sure you get the Warner Brother movies. The big studios themselves release several movies a month. So, but if you want to go to a movie theater, oh, okay. So you have to go out of town. That's, that can be difficult. I understand that. All right. So, the Devo Meister's here. Happy New Year. Hope all's well. Pray for people in the Middle East with earthquake that happened today. Yeah, that was terrible. My prayers are definitely with those people. And actually, by the way, I do encourage this. I've been kind of telling people not to see the live action Disney remakes for a while. The only one that I think I really liked, unironically, is Cinderella. And the rest I've had. I mean, I guess I kind of enjoyed Cruella, but Cruella was like a very, very original thing. But otherwise, I didn't like Beauty and the Beast. I didn't like The Lion King. I didn't like... See, they're also forgettable. I didn't like Aladdin. I didn't like Maleficent. I liked Maleficent too, even less. So, yeah. But I'll probably see the Little Mermaid remake because my wife will want to see it. And, film critic, there'll probably be like a live stream on that movie at some point. Maybe I'll get Mike to join me for that one. And anything, I don't know why you're so interested in my opinion of the My Little Pony movie. I thought as a movie it was fine. I mean, of course, newcomers are going to be lost with it, but I mean that is the vast majority of TV show to movie adaptations. It's very hard to make one that a newcomer is going to walk in full cold and completely get what's going on. Even the Bob's Burgers movie, which was pretty newcomer friendly, like you're going to miss a lot of the context if you don't watch that show. So, and actually for almost all movie theaters, if you need a ID in order to see an R-rated movie. So there you go. Now then, Joshua, let's let's talk about what's going to be your next tier list ranking. The short answer to this is it's going to be whatever one I want it to be. I don't make commitments like that. However, this is just something to consider. I do have a YouTube membership and a Patreon page where if you are subscribed to a certain tier on that one and you help contribute financially to this channel, then you do get to choose certain video topics that I do. Like I think there's one tier that if you subscribe to it for this much a month, then every month you basically get to pick a video topic that I will do for you. And that's just non-negotiable because you're supporting the channel financially and you're asking for it. So therefore I'm going to do it as long as it's within reason. I'm not going to rank, adult websites or things like that. But most of your topics, which are tier lists, like if you want to become a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you can basically request that I do one every month, and then you will know what I'm going to do. So just something to consider. Otherwise, it's basically whatever I want to do. But if you want to help contribute to the channel's financial security, then you get to choose some of those topics. So anyway, let's oh, hey, I got to put my Pitbull to bed. He's snarling at me. And I don't know why you can't see any of the comments. Oh wait, I think I know why you might not be able to see the comments. I'm streaming on 2 channels right now. I'm streaming on the iCritic channel and the Aptrepreneur channel. So I think the vast majority of people are looking at this on the iCritic channel, and as a result, you can't really see what the other people are saying. Now let's get back to some of Joshua's comments because see, this is where being a Patreon or YouTube member come in handy. Can you do a tier ranking of all the fantasy franchise? Like you see, you could actually request it, and then I would have to do it that month. As for whether I'll do tier ranking for the fantasy franchises, I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but I'm not going to commit myself to it. Are you getting tired of superhero movies altogether? Or are you getting tired of superhero movies altogether, both Marvel and DC? I'm tired of superhero movies. I think there's too many of them, but there are still great ones being made. I really love the Batman. It almost made my top 10 list. I really like the Joker. That did make my top 10 list. But I'm overall kind of bleh on them. If I don't see another superhero movie for 5 years, I'd be okay. I think there's too many, and I kind of wonder, because I love musicals, for example, but musicals died out, I think, for a reason. When you get so many of them, then eventually the audiences start to stagnate. But they've been watching these superhero movies for a long time, so who knows? Would you say the MCU is not doing good because they're terrible writing, bad CG, and terrible jokes? Actually, the MCU is doing very good. I know that there are channels out there that like to do clickbait articles and videos like, oh, Thor Love and Thunder only made $800 million or whatever. It's like, guys, do you listen to yourself? Yeah, it's not the $1 billion of the last time around, but $800 million is nothing to sneeze at. The shows seem to be successful on Disney Plus. I don't know why people say Marvel's doing poorly. I mean, they're making a little less money now, and that's something that may continue to become a problem, but for the time being, they're still wildly successful. Most studios would kill to have an $800 million grossing film. Would you say the Super Mario Brothers movie is going to be an example of how to do a video game adaptation the right way? I don't know because I haven't seen it. When I see it, then I'll know. I hope so. I really do, but we'll see. It's Illumination. And Illumination can definitely go either way. What are your biggest problems with Bob Iger as CEO of Disney? My biggest problem with him is basically that he turned Disney into a franchise machine. I don't like the idea of animated movies getting sequels. I don't like that he has really homogenized Disney to where it's like, I mean, when you go to Disney Plus, what do you go to Disney Plus for? It's like, oh yeah, it's Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar, and it's like, and not a whole lot else. So I think that $71 billion purchase of Fox was bad for the industry, bad for them. So that's my opinion of Bob Iger. I'm looking forward to him leaving again personally. Let's see here. What else? What's the reason you think Little Mermaid is going to be hot garbage and is still going to be in the trend of awful live action remakes from Disney? Well, for the simple reason that most of them are carbon copy cutouts of the animated movies, except without the charm because they're not animated. They're live action. Or in the case of Lion King, it is animated, but they spent so much time making it look real that it's no longer has any expression in it. Do you find the Harry Potter franchise extremely overrated? And would you agree with a lot of people of the controversy of J.K. Rowling? I do not think the Harry Potter franchise is extremely overrated. As for the controversy of J.K. Rowling, that's a tricky one. I don't know exactly what side of the aisle you are on it. I'm not going to go so far as to say she has said nothing wrong or nothing hurtful, because she has. But I do not believe everything she said is incorrect. And look, she is a feminist. She has always been a feminist. She fights for the rights of women. And if women's rights are going to be overturned by gay or trans or men or whatever, she's going to have something to say about this. And I think what the trans community needs to understand is that, look, some of the things they want will eventually come into conflict with some other people's beliefs. And they're not going to take too kindly about them. It doesn't mean that they're turf or whatever it is. It means that they have a difference of opinion on how to handle a certain situation. And calling them homophobic is not going to make them change their opinion. You need to talk to them. You need to understand their perspective. And in fact, you might even be able to find a middle ground where no one's completely happy, but no one's completely unhappy either. Like, that's what's kind of missing with politics and discussions today is compromise. Everyone wants it their way or the highway. That's not how things work out, though. So that's my stance on that whole thing. And yeah, I probably will be getting Hogwarts Legacy because it looks like a really fun game, and that's all I care about when buying a game. So let's see here. Do you have the Disney will bring back 2D hand-drawn animation for their upcoming anime films and combine it with computer animation? I don't know if they will do that or not. I hope they bring back 2D animation in some form. I know that that's what those shorts, like the Paperman short, that was an experiment to see if they could make computer animation look like 2D, and it was very successful in that regard. Then they did that food short with the dog because they wanted to try it with color. That looked a little less convincing. I think they're working on it because they want to make a 3D movie that looks like a 2D movie. I actually think DreamWorks and Sony have kind of perfected that, and now Disney might have to catch up. I also don't understand why they do this way, though. I mean, if people want to see a hand-drawn film, just make it a hand-drawn film. So that's kind of my thing. Do you got plans to keep Disney Plus? Planning getting rid of it? Well, it's free for us for another several months. We will just see. Have you seen Dora and the Lost City of Gold in 2019? If you have, what are your thoughts of the movie? I actually thought it was kind of charming. It was actually pretty enjoyable. So I enjoyed the Dora movie. I'm actually not ashamed to admit that. I thought it was pretty good. Would I ever watch it again? Probably not, but hey, we used MoviePass. We used MoviePass, and then we saw it, and it was like, oh, okay, that wasn't terrible. That was definitely a decent movie. How's life? Oh yeah, I already answered that. It's doing fine. Yeah, and the MoviePass has a new ownership, and they are just keeping the name. So where is DDR Dark Road? I don't know, and I'm actually kind of disappointed on that, because when I started the Entrepreneur channel, I think Joe was like my first actual friend that I had made through YouTube, and we had a lot in common. We actually talked on the phone some nights. He was a big supporter of mine. I was a big supporter of him, and then he kind of just disappeared. And I mean, I don't want to, criticize the guy. I mean, you're allowed to keep in contact with whom you see fit, but I admit to being a little hurt that he basically just disappeared from the face of the earth and didn't keep contact with me. I was that hurts a little bit, and even my wife is like, "Do you ever talk to Joe? He's so nice." I'm like, I don't know how to get in contact with him anymore. I guess it happens. People, lose touch for one reason or another, but that kind of hurt a little. That hurt a little bit. What are your thoughts on the Lord of the Rings trilogy? A lot of the two fantasy franchises. Which do you think is better, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter? Oh, Lord of the Rings. It's not even that's not even close. The Lord of the Ring movies are on average. I mean, granted, there's like, okay, with the Hobbit, I guess there's 6 and there's 8 Harry Potter movies, excluding Fantastic Beasts. And I think that on average, the Lord of the Rings were way better than the Harry Potter movies. But I like them both. It's not like there's a huge difference in quality. It's like, if Lord of the Rings is 5, then Harry Potter is 4. Can't claim that that's a bad discrepancy to have. How do you see the Lord of the Rings of Power TV show that is on Amazon Prime? And would you agree with a lot of people that did not deliver the source material justice? I didn't watch the Rings of Power, to be perfectly honest. I could. I keep intending to. It's just not. It's not a priority with the new Game of Thrones and The Last of Us currently. So, have you seen the Powerpuff Girls movies from 2002? Would you agree that is a gigantic box office bomb? Well, I mean, whether it's a box office bomb is not a matter of opinion. That's a matter of numbers. And by the numbers, the Powerpuff Girls movie was a gigantic bomb. It really did not make a lot of money. But I did see it in theaters, and I did enjoy it. And that's actually one of the few TV adaptation movies that is good for newcomers, because it's an origin story. But yeah, it objectively speaking, did not do well. So it was a bomb. Have you seen Jonah, a VeggieTales movie before? It's a movie based on the Christian animated show created by Phil Vischer. Yeah, of course I've seen Jonah, a VeggieTales movie. I enjoyed Jonah, a VeggieTales movie. I like the VeggieTales. Well, the stuff that they did before Netflix took over anyway. So, have you seen the Paw Patrol movie, and do you got plans to see the sequel when it comes out? I saw the Paw Patrol movie in theaters just to see it. It was fine. I don't think I'll see the sequel. It's just not for me. What's the reason you prefer Lord of the Rings over Harry Potter? Well, it's simple. I think they're better movies. I think that the Lord of the Rings movies are better movies. So that's really all it comes down to. I think they've got the better special effects. They've got the better storytelling. So I think a couple of the Harry Potter movies, especially like the 5th one and Deathly Hallows Part 1, were pretty mediocre. So do you like Hannah Montana? No. to be blunt, no, I do not like Hannah Montana. I never thought Hannah Montana was funny. I never thought it was well acted. Now, I don't dislike all of Hannah Montana's songs. There actually were a couple songs that I thought were pretty good, but for the most part, I would not buy an album. Obviously Miley Cyrus didn't want to be known as Hannah Montana forever. That's why she went all, scandalous shortly after the show had ended, because she really wanted to kill that character. And she, I think, succeeded. I mean, Disney didn't want to have any association with her after she did that Grammys performance. I think it was the Grammys with Robin Thicke, where her butt was in his crotch. It was an interesting thing to see her do. So, but of course, then she had more mainstream hits like Party in the USA. And, so, I don't dislike Miley Cyrus, but I do not like the Hannah Montana TV show. And I also saw the movie and did not like that either. So, how long ago was the Hannah Montana movie? Let's see here. 2009. I was like 23 when I saw that movie, or something like that. Yeah, it's been a while. So I think I was too old for Hannah Montana anyway. Have you seen the Powerpuff Girls TV show, both the original and the 2016 reboot? Yeah, I've seen them both. The original TV show was way better. It's still a good show. The reboot, nowhere near as good. It's nowhere near as good. Would you agree that Dora the Explorer is bad for preschoolers? No. Why would I think that? It teaches Spanish. That's all. It does fine under that circumstance. I think Caillou is a bad show for preschoolers, because that kid does nothing but throw temper tantrums when he doesn't get his way. But why would I think that Dora the Explorer is bad? It's just a program that teaches kids to speak Spanish. That's all it is. What is your absolute favorite of the Middle Earth of the 6 movies? Return to the King. That's an obvious one. Return to the King is clearly the best one out of all of them. So, all right, I think we've caught up with everything, and we went 20 minutes longer than what we were intending to do. But I kind of like when we do the conversation little thing. So anyway, folks, that's the MoviePass story and the conversation. What do you all think about it? Are you going to get the MoviePass? Do you have it? Stay tuned for MoviePass related videos. Check out our top 10 list at around 2 p.m. on Tuesday on iCritic Live. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.